Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I do this live stream from. Now we're calling it's still the same show, different title, the Spiritual Roundtable. And it's actually a more, I think, a more appropriate title for what we do here and for this live stream. So welcome. Today is Sunday, June 2nd. And we're already in June. And I missed you guys. I know I had a business meeting on Thursday that I had to make, and I was off Friday and Saturday. So I hope you guys had a good weekend or winding it up maybe on a late Sunday afternoon, or possibly wherever you're at, it's maybe Sunday evening. Who knows? Here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, it's been kind of cloudy and sunny, partly cloudy. It's not that. It's actually very nice out. The breeze is stiff enough to take the mosquitoes away because we have mosquitoes like you wouldn't believe, and a lot of pollen. Yeah. So, good afternoon, good evening. There is, I don't know. There's change in the air. I think that's what I'm feeling. So, before we get going too far down the road, I would like to share and like our broadcast, our live stream, and I'd invite you to do the same thing. So I've got my phone, and I'm going to find our live stream. Got to scroll a little bit. There we are. And I'm going to share it over to my news feed so that my friends know that I am live streaming. And the reason why we even ask you guys this, and we ask almost every show host here at Star Nations asks their audience to do this. Why? Is because it helps us to be in the news feed a little bit more often, and because we do know that Facebook shifts and changes all the time, and but there is at least one constant, and that is it really likes, it likes shares, and it likes comments. And so if we can help somebody to locate information, or maybe they're searching for a spiritual community, they can find us a little bit easier. So I'm going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming and asking them to please join us. There we go. Get that posted. Yay. Good. Okay, now I'll make sure my sound is down. Yay. Let's see. I want to see who's in the chat. Let's scroll down a little bit. Hey, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. She says, hello, Neshi. I hope you're feeling okay. Rochelle had some surgery and last week, and it looks like you're doing okay, that you're actually here with us in the live stream. So I'm glad you're here, Rochelle. And Julie is here too. Julie Shumway Hill. Hello, Julie. It's always good to see you in the chat. Rochelle is saying, in rehab, just twisted my knee. Ouch. Oh, owie. She had knee surgery, knee replacement. So twisting it isn't fun. Thank you for sharing and loving, Julie. I appreciate it. And Rochelle too. Thank you so much, ladies. Appreciate that. And looks like Stephanie's in the house too. She's starting to put those posts out there for Star Nations. Yeah. So what's going on at Star Nations? Just to bring you up to speed, since we haven't seen each other since Wednesday. I've been working very diligently on the June issue of the magazine, Star Nations magazine. So all of the articles have been prepped. All of the pictures have been found and connected to the article they're going to be joining. And it's all in a pretty package and sent over to our layout artists over at Elf Elm. And so they have it. And so they're doing the actual layout right now. The cover is done. Yay. It's a good looking cover too. I don't know if you guys have seen it, because Stephanie has been doing the postings of it. And I saw it the first time, I think it was early this morning. I was like, wow. And I know I'm partial, but I really like that cover. So I've been working on that. Thursday, I missed seeing you guys because I had a business conference call for the magazine with our partners at Magcast. They're the ones that help us to turn the magazine into a digital format. And yeah, and so it was a good meeting. It was, I don't understand why they call them masterminds, but you know, I suppose two heads better than one. Is that the old saying? Well, there was a bunch of us on that call, and so it was a good thing, though. It's a good thing to hear the information firsthand and actually to have input into some of the changes that are coming about. So it's good stuff. So I've been really busy with the publishing end of Star Nations, and helping Orchard Franklin. We're working on her first book to be published with us. And so we're still in the very, very early stages of it, but still got to work on those things, right? So I've been really, really busy with the publishing end, and a little bit with the academy too. I promised you guys we're going to have online classes, and I'm almost ready to make that move and to get everything set up. And so you can watch for the promotions that will be coming out hopefully within the next 6 weeks or so, posting the classes that will be appearing later this fall online, starting this fall and into the winter. Yay! Yay! So yeah, I've been kind of busy, and of course, there's always George, right? George and Mom, the other two that keep my time kind of limited. George is doing really good. He hurt his left rear knee, and it's kind of hard to keep a 10-month-old puppy kind of quiet, but we're doing the best we can, and he's doing really, really good. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that he's going to be able to go back to puppy daycare like around the 15th or 17th or something like that. Yeah, yay. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, and I should let you know, hey, Pat's here too. Hello, Pat. Good to have you here. So is Peggy. Peggy, it's always good to see you in the house. Did you notice something different about the title of the show? Yeah. Way back when, over a year ago, I was doing a meditation, and my spiritual team was showing me that we should be doing a daily live stream, right? And basically, the reason why I wanted to is to see for myself the difference between a native live stream and that's just a plain old live stream through Facebook, and using a third-party app. And our partners at MagCloud, not MagCloud, sorry, Be Live TV. And so when we first started it, I was just doing plain old live streams, and I didn't even have a title for it. We were just getting together, and we were sharing information about a divination card that I'd pulled in the morning, right? And as time rolled on, and I found the information I was looking for, that for us, or for me, I should say, in particular, it didn't really matter if I was doing a live stream or a native live stream. Or a third-party app live stream. I had just as many people watching, and the reach was about the same. Now, the who was watching was a little bit different. When I do a live stream from my timeline, I have other people who join me. The regulars, you guys, are always there, but I have other people that I might not have seen in a few years that kind of jump on the live chat, and so it's kind of nice, right? And when we first started, I didn't even have a name for what we were doing. It was pretty informal. It really was. I don't know if you guys remember way back when, but it wasn't even a name. And then as we started moving along, the content and the conversations that we would have, because those that are here with us in the live stream chat, you guys are really, really good at having a conversation, right? Posting your questions or your thoughts, or how you view the cards that were drawn that day, and we're having a conversation about it. And it so reminded me of the spiritual roundtables I used to host at my house. Gosh, it's been probably 15 years ago, something like that. 12 years ago for sure. Yeah. And so over the weekend, Stephanie Williams, who is our social media manager, contacted me. We were texting, messaging back and forth. And she says, "Hey, I had a really good idea for your show, a title for your show." And because I went from, I think people were calling it Neshi's non-show or something like that, because it really wasn't a show. And then I just started calling it the daily live stream, because that's what it was. And doing the card draw, right? And so Stephanie, she says, you've talked about this so many times about the spiritual roundtable. That would be a good name for the show. And so that's what I did. So I'm going to hide my name here and put the cover back on. You're not going to see me for just a moment, okay? So here is part of the promotion. It's called the Spiritual Roundtable with me, Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. So everything basically stays the same, really. It's just the title of the show. So now we have an official title, guys. It's called the Spiritual Roundtable. Yep. And so last night, I after I was done working on the magazine items and that sort of thing, at 10 o'clock at night, I thought, I feel like having some fun. And so I started creating some of the promos for this new old show, now called the Spiritual Roundtable. And so I got those to Stephanie so she can start using them. And so the Spiritual Roundtable. Every morning I draw a divination card of one kind or another. And this month we're using the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. And this book, or the deck, is by Chief Archie Fire Lame Deer and Helen Sarkis. Right? It was published in 1993. It is out of print, but although you can get used books and decks of the cards. So we've been using this since all through May, and I was going to start a new deck this week, but I still might. I might do that tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what my spiritual team has to say about that, because they wanted me to use this deck this morning. Okay, so the card draw. The intention is to show us the energy that's flowing today that's most important for us to know about for our spiritual growth, right? And for our highest good and the highest good of all, so that we have an idea of what's unfolding for us today, right? It helps us kind of get prepared for, whatever's coming down the pike anyway. And so today's first card we've had before, right? And it's it looks like Tate. That's how you would pronounce it in English. This is Lakota based, and so we're learning some of the Lakota words. And so I believe this would probably be pronounced Tate, and it means wind. And the energy around this card is about change. Don't you just like that image of wind? And the spiritual belief around nature, let's put it that way, from the Lakota point of view, perspective, is that everything has a spirit. Everything comes from spirit, and so everything has a consciousness, right? And so even the wind has a consciousness, has a spirit. And they're called supernatural beings, right? And so the wind, Tate, brings change. The winds of change. Can really kind of get the feeling of that movement in the imagery, right? And if you take a really close look at this, It does definitely feel masculine, doesn't it? And blue. Sometimes it actually kind of looks cold. Wind. And with this author, or these authors, I should say, they include a channeled piece, a channeled writing from the spirit of the particular cards. And so Tate, wind, this is what he has to say. Okay. He says, I am born of the imminent motion of creation. I am all that was, is, and will be. I am the blessed breath of the one who loves you. I am the necessity of motion manifest in your world. I give you the experience of time, of past, present, and future. I share my breath with all of Earth's children. I can be gentle and caressing. I can bring destruction. I am he who sees to it that no creation begotten of man lives forever, for this is against the law of my Father. Got to turn the page. He goes on to say that his father is Skan, who says that these children must learn from experience, from change, internal and external, until the knowledge of his origin is all that is left to know. But I need not to be harsh with you, dear one. Hear the message in my soft voice, when I need not become so loud, but for my own exuberance. I have much to tell you, for I travel far and wide, high and low. I swirl in the eddies over the seas and rise high unto our Father and return again to the surface of the earth with messages for you. So that's the channeled piece. And so this spirit, Tate, wind, is here to tell us about change. There's change in the energy that's flowing today. And and technically, energy is constantly changing. It's never static. It may seem to our mental mind, our two-legged mental mind, that it's stationary, but it's not. It's not. It's constantly moving. And so is the wind, is constantly moving. Even though we may not feel it or sense it, the wind is blowing somewhere over grandmother Earth, right? So it's constant. And it's one of the things that I think that we can probably count on as a constant is change. Nothing stays the same. It's ever evolving, ever expanding. Even though it might be in micro, centimeters, millimeters, it's still moving. It's still moving. It's still changing, right? Yeah. The one thing that in that channel piece, it said that it was about time. He brought time, right? How did he put that? He said, I give you the experience of time, of past, present, and future, right? It's interesting because I think there's many of us who believe that there is that time is spherical, that there is no past, there is no present or future, that there's only the present, right? And as I was considering this morning, looking at this card, I was thinking, okay, so perhaps the time that we refer to as spherical is really about the divine timing, right? That everything happens all simultaneously in the present. But when we think about how time passes on the earth plane, as humans, two-leggeds on the earth plane, what wind brings us is the measurement, helps us to. That's why There was the creation, right? A two-legged created how to keep track of time, to watch it pass. And some say that passing of time is really helps us um, to measure, to make a measurement of how our life is unfolding. Those mile markers, right? Those times in our life that are marked by time, they say. So, those big things, right? And almost everybody has those. Marriage, divorce. You bought a house, you sold a house. You had children. Your children had children. Marked by the passing of someone that you love, somebody who has passed away and has gone back into spirit. And and I've watched both my mom and my mom-in-law experience that with their spouses, right? And as time has unfolded, has moved forward, they're not just living, but they're kind of thriving, right? Yeah. They miss their husbands, of course, but time moved forward, and so they had to do that too. And they had to accept change. So that was my kind of deep insight of that one this morning. That's what jumped out at me with this one. And talking about change, Spirit wants to let us know that there's change all the time, big and small. Big and small. And we all experience that, right? We all experience it. So I'm curious, is anybody in the live chat is experiencing change right now? That is, I'm just in the live chat, just kind of scrolling. Julie says, beautiful cover. I think so, but I'm kind of partial. Pat's going, online classes, yay. Yep, coming this fall. Stephanie is saying the old days where the show was called the non-show. Yep, those old days. It was only a year ago, my goodness. And Rob says, I'm late, but here, where's the ham, jam, and Spam? Oh my gosh, Spam. When was the last time you ate Spam? I was like a teenager. I must have been 17 or 18 the last time I had it. Yeah, I've been a quasi-vegetarian since I was probably 13 or 14 years old. And I say quasi because there was no way my mom was going to make separate meals. So I just ate what I could that she served. All right, I'm just scrolling through the chat. Thank you, Stephanie, for posting all of the information about the shows that are coming up this week. Yeah, and Rob is saying the I Ching imagery of wind, is mostly masculine. Two yang to one wind. Yin, I'm sorry. The thunder is mostly feminine. That's interesting. Something to contemplate. The thunder being feminine. Well, I can kind of see that though, because if you take the lightning as being the masculine aspect of that, and the sound of the lightning, which is the thunder, right, being feminine, I could see that. Yeah. Stephanie's saying, I can't think of any culture that considers the wind as feminine. I don't think so either, because even in Chinese feng shui, no, it's masculine. So Japanese, I can't either. Well, that's something to look into, isn't it? Because there's got to be some culture that maybe we're just not aware of. Rob is saying, experience change. Do wild bears dedicate? Really? Yes, they do. And yes, there is. Stephanie, change seems to be a constant when raising kids and co-parenting. Yes. Whenever we have to rely on someone else, right? Rochelle says, constant change with my health. Just took some painkillers. Really twisted it bad. Aw. Yeah, that's not good. Well, at least you'll get a little relief. All right. And Rob is saying, in fact, thunder is the opposite of wind. Is it really? Scientifically, is that what you're saying, Rob? Is the opposite of wind? That would be interesting. Do you have any more information about that one? I have Gingy. I'm sorry. That's our old dog's name. George here. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay. So yeah, the wind. Oops, let me take that down. It's easier to see. It's about change. And this is what they say about the change, okay, with the card. It says, consider stirring things up and making some major changes in your life. The wind carries seeds to their new place of growth, and the changes that you make loosen the topsoil, allowing you to cultivate the new ground to which you have been carried. There are times when major changes are called for, and others, a slight adjustment is beneficial. Whether you make a change in a diet, move furniture, maybe change your career or your where you live, it's up to you to look within to find the shift appropriate for you. So if there's change you have been avoiding, it's time to take steps to cultivate that change. Because, come on, even if you're comfortable with change, I mean, I am. And we've moved a lot. Since I've been married, we probably have owned like 8 or 9 different houses and lived in different states and that kind of thing. I see it as an adventure. But I also know that there's some people who find change difficult, right? And so for anyone, though, change is actually a good thing. I think that's just my 2 cents. I think change is a good thing. It helps us to kind of take stock. It's like, what is it that I want to change and why? To have some feeling and some thought around any kind of change rather than just jumping into it, right? Is to understand the domino effect of any change, whether it's a small change or a large change. In feng shui, I was a practitioner for quite a few years and a teacher for feng shui. And, that's where I understand how change is constant. Energy is constantly moving and constantly changing your life. But really, we have free will. And so we can actually measure out that change. We can say, okay, there's change. I want to do a small change first. I want to take a baby step first before I take the huge, gigantic step, right? And so you can kind of test out the water a bit with a small change, right? Yeah, in feng shui, we'd be saying if you want to change some change in your life, then what you want to do is you want to clean out your closets, maybe only one closet at a time, and do it thoughtfully, right? Or the junk room. Everybody has one. Or maybe a junk drawer, because everybody has one. It's the drawers and the closets that represent our internal life. It's the parts of us that very few people actually see. Right? So if you're looking for even just a small change, is to clean out a drawer, clean out a closet. And don't do what my dad usually did when he would clean out the garage. Actually, he would have us kids take everything out of the garage, clean the garage. And we had to stack things in like categories, And then when he came home from work, he would go through everything. And then the plan was that he was going to get rid of some things, and then we'd move the things that he was going to keep back into the garage. Well, we'd end up moving everything back in. So it wasn't really a change other than getting things cleaned up. But when you do your cleaning of your closets, is to do it thoughtfully and, and to look at how things have changed in your life that maybe you don't need something that's in your closet anymore. And so it gives you an opportunity to make those adjustments, small adjustments along the way. That's if you want to really move energy in those unseen places, okay? If you want to heal some past issues, past traumas, then start in the basement, a little at a time. You don't have to do everything in one weekend. You might want to, take it, section it off. Going to do one piece this month, and do that piece, right? Because if you go too fast, what you end up doing is causing what's called a healing crisis. And I've done that. That's not fun. I know, and I knew what I was doing. I knew it. And I accepted the consequences. I'm much more mindful about that stuff now. And so if you want to heal something from your past, look in the basement. Yep, clean it up. Get rid of things that are no longer supporting you and serving you, right? Because chances are things in your life you have changed. And so there might be something in your basement that you no longer need or is no longer useful to you. Yeah. So that's where I would start. If you want to change something in your past, heal something from the past. Yeah. All right. So Julie is saying, change is constant. At least it feels like it's on an upswing the last week or so. I know exactly what you're feeling. And so when I got the card this morning, it was like, well, that, it kind of validates the feelings I've had probably since Thursday, Friday. And Rob is saying, no, in imagery, I'd have to show the trigrams. Okay. All right. Maybe you could come on and help us with that sometime. We'll do something over in the academy, huh? Because I can't seem to find a person who can come in to teach us just the basics of the I Ching. I've been trying for a year and a half now. So we'll have to find somebody. Rochelle says the song "And the Wind" was called Mariah. Oh yeah. That's an oldie but a goodie. Rob says, out on a hike, went 8 miles Wednesday, only 4 Friday, as it was late and I was not alone. Today, 8 or 1. Oh, well, good for you. Good for you, Rob. Moving that energy, right? 8 to 10, yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Even with that, though, there's, I used to do a lot of walking, too. There's that moment on your walk where you can even kind of go through and do what I call mental clutter clearing, right? Things that you can, take a look at and let go, right? Thoughts, yeah. So winds of change, that first card, Tate. So almost everyone has some sort of change occurring. It's just turning our attention to it. Yeah. And if you feel uncomfortable with change, is take a look at how you can do it incrementally in those small baby steps, right? So you can do the small baby step change, and we all do the integration and the adjustment, no matter whether it's a big change or a little change. Wait for that to kind of settle in, and then do the next baby step. Yeah. If you need a planner to help you to kind of plan it out, that's okay too. Yeah. Hey, Zachary. Donna Robinson knows the I Ching. Does she really? Okay, that's good to know, Zachary. You're going to have to contact her. Donna Robinson. Okay, is that the correct spelling of her name, Zachary? Could you double check on that? Because I will get a hold of her and see if she can come and help us out with that. Rob is saying Hillary Barrett wasn't available. I'm not an expert, but I know the basics. Yeah. There's two things with that. Is that I wanted to have somebody to come in and help us to maybe in a series, right? Is do the introduction of what is the I Ching, just the really basic stuff, and then kick it up a notch to why do we use the I Ching, and what's the very basics of understanding how to use it, right? So that what I was looking for was something for the academy, but also a featured article for the magazine. That's what I was looking for. So, yeah. All right. So Marie's saying, since last week I keep seeing 555s. Isn't that change? Well, there is something about that. There is something about that. Five is about change. And living with five is it can be a little bit of a challenge if you're not comfortable with change. Let me get my phone because I got the triple number meetings on my phone. Hang on. It's just going to take me a second to find it because I have a lot of notes in here. Here it is. Okay, so the triple number fives is about unity consciousness. And this is by Alice Bailey. Okay, and so we want to take a look at it's kind of like the base of it, and then we'll want to take a look at how can it be expanded. And so it's about unity consciousness. This is the number when someone has attained unity consciousness. They have mastered all levels of the mystery school. It's the highest number. It is the number of the Christ consciousness. Okay. So with 555s, sometimes when we make decisions about something, like you're deciding maybe that you're going to take that next class because I know that you're going to be registering for that class with Polly Joe. That in that decision, as soon as you made the thought, I want to do that class. And if it's for your highest good to be there, things will start shifting already before you even get to the class, right? And so it's a possibility that 555 is telling you that is confirming for you the change. And it's about ascension, really. It's about ascension. It's about mastering that the levels of the mystery school. Yeah. Very interesting. So, as you know, that I tend to see a lot of 333s. And I do know that now for me, the 333s is all about the ascended masters. So it's possible, Marie, that what you could do is sit down and connect with your spiritual team and ask them to show you your expanded meaning of the 555s to help them clarify it for you, right? Yeah. And Zachary is saying Dina Darby Darren taught me about the I Ching too. Okay. Yay. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you so much for giving me those resources, and I will take a look into them and see if they're available to help out. Rob is saying, in my 20s, when everyone was learning tarot, I couldn't make heads nor tails of it. They felt the same way about the I Ching. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Mine was, and I'm still that way. Astrology. It's not my ally. Can't keep that information in my head for nothing. But numerology is different. I can remember stuff about numerology. and it's easier for me, right? And so maybe the I Ching is really your ally. Yeah. And Rob is also saying, coming across the repeating numbers, I keep getting the lesson repeating until I filled up before heading to class in Lowell. Oh, so the 999s. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. So, our spiritual team is constantly communicating with us. It's a matter of us turning our attention to it and acknowledging it, right? And acknowledging it. You're welcome, Marie. And Sarab is saying the class was Cad Sturkin's course on wolf medicine. Oh, yeah. He was doing different power animals, right? Or is it just wolf? I thought he was doing bear too or something like that. Yeah. So must have been something about that particular information for you, huh, Rob, that you were getting the 999 completion. Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right, let's go on to the second card. So the second card, now I'm going to hope I can pronounce this one all right. All right, let me make sure it doesn't cover it up. Wahinhaya. Oh, here we go. Got to slow down. Wahinhaya. That's Lakota. Wahinhaya. The mole. It's about regeneration. Wahinhaya. It's very interesting, isn't it? How from culture to culture, how we interpret something, right? Because from a non-native, a non-Lakota culture, they might see the mole as a pesky rodent that messes up your lawn, right? But this is the message, the channeled message from the mole. It says, I am the guardian of the earth. I live beneath the surface of the earth in close communion with the mother. All movements of the earth I know, the earthquakes and the volcanoes, the storms and the gentle rains, the scattering of seeds. I know the roots within the soil and the plants upon which your foot falls. I cannot see and therefore cannot prejudge. But I glean all through the intimacy of touch and smell and taste. I know the secrets of healing. Gotta turn the page. Both the physical and the mental. And these gifts I offer you who are your mother's children. At the time of your spirit's flight, I will allow your body to re-enter her, great one, to nourish her who gave you life. So the mole guards the earth and knows all of the earth's movements. The power of mole is to cure through the knowledge of healing roots and plants. By picking up subtle information from nature, mole knows what to expect in the future. Okay. And the mole also knows about the seeds that are planted, right? Yeah. So with change and the winds of change, and how those thoughts that we have about what we're going to change, whether it doesn't matter if they're small changes or large changes, we begin thinking about how we're going to do these changes, right? We're planting seeds. That we're going to cultivate and grow. And as we change, right, grounding that change to the earth plane. So with medicine, the spirit of Wahinhaya the mole, is telling us that nature knows about our changes, and they can help us. They're our relatives, they're our allies. They can help us. And that he doesn't have any prejudgment about any of the changes, about you. Nature doesn't judge us. But they can help us. So whatever change that you are planning or that you're in the middle of, just know that nature already has sensed it, already knows about it. And that if you can request assistance, that all of nature is willing to help. We just have to ask, right? We just have to ask. So this card is about, it says, this is the point in which to examine your life. Detach your interests from the ways of the past and recreate yourself. You are the guardian of yourself. Come up above ground and into the light. Live in the present by incorporating your knowledge and vision of past and future. Each new moment is an opportunity to awaken the self and burrow deeper into the earth's goodness. You have the power to heal your life and create yourself anew in any moment. Listen to the messages you receive from above, guiding you toward the whole healing of your body and your mind and your soul. So basically, mole medicine, Wahinhaya, is here to help us with the change. All we have to do is ask nature to support us. So, we each have power animals. We each have totems. We each have a connection to nature in our unique way, right? And so whenever it's just our life, whenever we're finding ourselves maybe worrying about something or all that mental overthinking something, spinning out over it, freaking out over it, is to remember that we have assistance. We just have to ask. And what Mole is saying to us today is nature's here. They already know what's going on with us. We just have to ask them to support us. No matter how large or how small are the change that we are going through, doesn't matter. We just need to ask. Yeah? So I'm going to show you the two cards together. Okay. Here we go. The two cards together. You've got, get my fingers out of the way. Tate, wind. It's all about change. Wahinhaya, the mole, is saying that he knows all the changes that are happening on Earth. Everything from the biggest things like earthquakes and volcanoes to the smallest things like the gentleness of rain or the seeds that have been planted. And with that knowledge, they already know about our changes. Because every time we make the decision to change something, to change ourselves, we affect the environment around us, right? Both energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so, of course, nature would know about that change. And that change is already here. It's already occurring because it happens all the time. All the time. We can ask for help. We can ask nature to step in to support us. Yeah. You can ask your power animals. You can ask your totems. You can ask your allies, and that's including the stones and the crystals. All of nature. All right. Let's see. Oh, see, I thought I'd seen something about bear written someplace. So thank you, Rob, for sharing that. And he says that was the last one, that last class before the wolf. It says if you're a greenskeeper, you hate them. I know, and the thing is that it's about our communication, right? It's about communication, co-creation. It's about cohabitation. It's all doing this together. I have friends who are avid gardeners, like mini Kansman, right? And they all talk about the same thing about having a conversation, especially if you're dealing with moles, is to have a conversation with the archetype, the head mole, and find out what is it that they're. Why not to do this in the yard, not to do this in the gardens, but to be able to do their tunneling, and actually they're eating, right? To do it in other parts of the lawn where it doesn't make any difference if they're tunneling through there, burrowing through there or not, and to be able to do that in a peaceful way, right? Yeah, because we have to live together. And Rochelle is saying, I have to go, too tired. Oh, well, you took some pain medication. That's going to make you tired. So take care of yourself, Rochelle, okay? She says, bought a stuffed turtle at the hospital gift shop on Wednesday just before surgery. Have it on my bedstand. Ah, turtle medicine. That's right. Yeah, you got to slow down just a little bit for a little while, right, Rochelle? You had that surgery, and so now that turtle medicine is taking it easy, going slow, right? Paul would calls that turtling up. At work to turtle up, meaning you're going to pull into your shell and you're going to wait it out. Get to wait it out, and it's yeah, turtle has a lot of meanings for the earth too. So take care of yourself. And Rochelle says, I have mole tunnels everywhere. Yeah, well, as long as they're not really hurting anything, right? They have to eat too. And if they're in the gardens, though, or in your lawn, ask them to go to a place in the yard that it doesn't matter if they're tunneling. Yeah. Greetings from Lake St. Anne. Oh, Loch St. Anne. I hope I said that right. All right. So these are the two cards that came today. Now, there was a third. It was very interesting because I was putting the cards away, and George was there with me, right? And as I was putting the cards in the cloth bag that I keep them in, he came over and he was bumping my hand, right? And this is the card that fell out. He bumped my hand, and this is I don't know if I can pronounce this correctly. Kasa, goddess of water. It's to uncover. And it's all about flowing with life, and that we have to deal with issues in that flow of life. It says that although there are times we feel as if we are deep in turbulent waters, our most significant concerns only truly rise to the surface when we're ready to face them. Allow them to surface as they will. These concerns may have been hidden from view, too heavy to rise. Once they've surfaced, they are lighter, easier to face, and in a place where they can be resolved. So it's possible that in the change that you're in the midst of, or you're contemplating doing, or planting the seeds for, maybe it was maybe you got that nudge. Maybe you got that nudge about a situation that involved your emotions, an event that maybe brought something to the surface that you either didn't realize was there or you ignored it for quite some time, and now it's time to deal with it, right? And possibly this change is a part of the dealing with it, resolving it, right? Yeah. And I have to say that, I do have one of those things in my life. Sure. Yeah, situations with taking care of mom and family and all of that, and coming to just admit it that it's not the ideal. It's not a script off from a sitcom kind of situation. It doesn't have the white picket fence in front of it, right? And that I can't always depend on my family to be there to help me. And so I have to make changes so that I have more support to take care of mom. And so putting things in place for that, things that I probably should have done a few years ago and didn't. And so now I am. And it feels so much better. It's a change. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be drama laden. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It's just seeing the situation with more clarity and calling in assistance, right? Yeah. So sometimes we do have to take that into consideration and to really take a look at a situation or something that's evolving or perhaps been hidden and has come to the surface, and being in the flow of life, because life is constantly changing, always changing. And it doesn't have to be dramatic or traumatic. But if it is, we have help. We have help. We just have to ask. Right? So that is the message for today. It's pretty good, I think. So for those of us who kind of enjoy change, it's a good thing, right? For those of us who don't really enjoy or finding change challenging, then maybe it's about doing it in small steps, so it doesn't feel so overwhelming for you, right? Because it doesn't have to be. Oh, Rob is seeing deer medicine up ahead. What does that mean for you, Rob? Deer. He's saying that it's a section of the Pollyann Trail that gave me its name. The water doesn't show on maps. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, the deer showed you something. So what is that all about? Yeah. For me, deer is a lot about internal work. They're very gentle, although they can get kind of fierce. I've seen deer fight. Yeah, they mean business when they fight. Yeah, but technically, they're gentle, and it's a lot about inward work. At least that's my take from myself on it. So, Rob, what does that mean for you, right? Yeah, because that's medicine showing itself to you. So, we're at the top of the hour. If any of this resonated with you, perhaps it was a word or a phrase, or maybe in the whole thing, I don't know. Whatever it was, my suggestion is just to embrace it and watch, see, sense, or feel how energy today is unfolding around you, and where this information could be helpful, right? And if it didn't resonate, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. There's always tomorrow's cards to see maybe that resonates with you. No worries. Yeah, and so we got some shows coming up for you this week, live stream shows. Yeah. Let me get my notes up here because some of this, I just worked on this morning. Oh, Polly Joe's show on Tuesday, June 4th at noon Eastern time. It's going to be a very interesting one. She is going to be sharing with us understanding the energy of autism. She says autism is a very prevalent on the planet right now. And what is the energy behind this, and how can we work toward a place of better understanding? Right? Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. So that's Tuesday at noon with Polly Jo. Chakra sessions. And then Tuesday night, June 4th, is my evening show, my weekly show called Communications from Home. And we're going to be talking about color and lights. You know, that some of us see colored lights and orbs and sparks of light, right? And so I've never had a show about that. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to share about that on Tuesday night. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Communications from Home. So if you have stories about seeing color lights, orbs, flashing lights, swirling colors, bring your stories. I want to hear them. Okay? Yeah. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That is a healing meditation, pretty profound stuff that happens in those healing meditations. And then the second half is about the card draw. Right? So if you're interested in that, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And then Thursday, June 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, is Spiritual Mysteries of Life with Constance Shearwater. And Connie is one of our elders here at Star Nations. And and she shares so much interesting things about the mysteries that we have here in our physical life that go along with their spiritual life, right? And sometimes she actually does channeling. So you might want to join us for that one. If she is channeling, she will take questions and help you with answers through the channeling. Yeah. So we have kind of a busy week, don't we? And we're still working on the magazine besides. All right. I'm just going to double check the chat here to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And okay. Maria is saying, thank you for doing this. I always enjoy the conversation. Me too, Maria. It's always good to have you here to add your 2 cents to it too. And Julie says, I had hummingbird medicine come my way today. You did? Wow. And what does that mean for you? Because I think it was Thursday. I actually had hummingbirds coming up to the window. We don't feed hummingbirds. And they were coming up to the window and to two different places in our house on Thursday. Interesting. And Rob says, I'll look it up when I get by the sloppy terrain, but imagery of the wolf and stag come to mind. Oh, okay. All right. It'll be interesting what the message is. Well, with that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the Spiritual Roundtable, and I'll draw another card for tomorrow, and we'll see what Spirit has to say about the energy unfolding for tomorrow. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for the conversation. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. All right? All right. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.